will Sega ever return to the console industry? Unfortunately, if Sega were to return to the console industry, it would not be for years or even decades to come. So yeah, about a month ago I made a video called Will Sega Make a New Console 2020 Edition, where I went over a brief history on why Sega left the console industry and my opinions on whether they should make a new console. In that video, I stated that Sega would not make a new console anytime soon due to mainly their financial position and the current competition in the console market. But now a month later, a major new Sega related announcement has been teased, which many people, including myself, are really excited about, with a ton of rumours going around saying that it's going to be a next generation Sega console, with other rumours saying that Microsoft are buying Sega, Sega are making a streaming service, and a ton of other rumours. With a ton of people commenting on my Sega console video, telling me about the rumours, with some people saying you'll get an answer to your question on June 3rd or 4th, 2020, or Sega could be merging with Microsoft, and a ton more comments like that. So, with all these rumours going around, I decided to make an update to that video, where I'll closely analyse the new tease and talk about my opinions on it and the rumours, so let's get into it. Now, all these rumours have come from a Japanese journalist called Zenji Nishikawa, which I'm sure you all know about. On a YouTube livestream, he gave hints about an upcoming announcement to do with a Japanese game company, which is on the same scale as the upcoming PS5 announcement. This is what he said in the stream. Thanks to this translation by Jamastu, my column in next week's issue of Famistu is crazy. I got a huge scoop. It's a world premiere article and an exclusive. It may not be Nikkei or Weekly Bunshun, but if you want to know if it's a scoop that big, it totally is. It's a scoop from a game company that everyone loves, an insane scoop. Last year, Wired got an exclusive story on PlayStation 5 right. Other media didn't. It's that level of a scoop. I interviewed a certain company's executive and technical staff. It's really revolutionary. Really, it's a revolution. It'll be in Famistu next Thursday. I already sent it in my manuscript, so the proofs are being made now. It's a scoop on a level that when the story comes out, other media will be making a fuss to the company like, why didn't you let us cover it? Maybe people will say, who was the first to break the story? It was Zenji Nishikawa, right? It's a scoop as major as the PlayStation 5 scoop. I just wanted to say that in advance. I can't say anything more here, but it's okay for me to tease it. I was told that it's okay to do so at various meetings. It's being talked about in other places, just not by the media. It'll rile up the games industry. He stopped short of confirming who the new scoop is about, after a few viewers noticed that the name Sega was accidentally dropped. After realising this, Nishikawa reportedly said, "Did I say Sega? Then it's Sega." He also went on to say that it's not a Dreamcast 2. So, let's take a closer look at this tease. First, Nishikawa stated that the announcement was on the same scale as the PS5 announcement, then going on to say that he interviewed a certain company's executive and technical staff, then saying that it's really revolutionary. He also went on to say that this announcement will rile up the games industry. Now, from this we can make a few things clearer. First, we know this announcement is going to be something big, as it's apparently on the same level as the PS5 announcement. He also said he interviewed a certain company's executive and technical staff, and then said that it's really revolutionary, meaning that due to the technical staff involved, this upcoming announcement could be something to do with a new piece of hardware, possibly being some kind of new console, although it could well be about something else on the same scale as the PS5 announcement. Now, before we think it is going to be a new next generation Sega console developed by Sega themselves, we need to go over a key point from the stream, that Nishikawa reportedly said that it's not a Dreamcast 2, meaning that it's very unlikely that it'll be a next generation Sega console made by Sega themselves. Also, to add on to that point, I personally don't think Sega are in a good enough financial position to do something like that, because if it flops, Sega could have major financial issues. However, I'm not saying that the announcement is not a new Sega console. It could well be a new console such as a classic one, an upcoming next-gen console branded as a Sega console, or something such as a streaming service or console for all Sega's library. Who knows? So of course, a ton of rumours have started to spread around the internet about this. So, let's look at a couple of them, and I'll share my thoughts about them, whether I think they're possible or not. One major one I've seen going around is that Microsoft or Sony are going to buy Sega. Now, I personally don't think Sony would buy Sega, as the PlayStation is already well established and doing well in Japan, and all around the world, so it's kinda pointless for Sony to buy Sega in my opinion, as the PlayStation is doing incredibly well. But Microsoft, on the other hand, there's been a ton of rumours about Microsoft buying Sega going around for years, but I do think it's possible as Microsoft could then have access to Sega's vast library of games and franchises. Therefore, we could see some franchises revived such as Nights into Dreams or Jet Set Radio. Microsoft could pump a ton of money into Sega too, but there are some negatives if Microsoft bought Sega. One being that Sega's new games will only be released on the Xbox and Windows, as Microsoft tend to do that with the game companies they buy. But in my opinion, I do think Microsoft buying Sega from Sammy is possible, however, may cause some arguments with fans. Another rumour I've seen going around is Sammy, Sega's parent company, are going to buy Konami and merge the company with Sega. Now, I do see this happening as both companies are around the same size and have great libraries of games. So, we could see some Sega and Konami franchises collaborating in the future if this were to happen. Also, if Sammy decided to completely merge Konami into Sega, which will most likely not happen, Konami will pump a ton of money into Sega and give them access to a ton of great games. Maybe they could have enough money to make a new next-gen console at some point. This console would do extremely well in Japan in my opinion, as Sega and Konami are both well known there. Another rumour is that Sega are going to make a streaming service. I do think this is a good idea, as Sega have a great library of games and would attract attention from many different people. I can see this happening and would be successful for Sega. Another rumour I've seen going around is that Sega are going to make a new console which can emulate and play all of Sega's previous titles. I can see this happening and would be a good idea, but I think Sega could stick with their mini console format, as they probably make more money out of selling individual mini consoles. But one major console that could play all of Sega's previous titles would still be a good idea, and I would certainly buy it. The last rumour I'm going to cover is again something to do with Microsoft, and it is that Microsoft could have an agreement with Sega to brand the Xbox in Japan as a Sega console, called the Sega Box for example. I personally think this is a good idea, as Xboxes never usually sell well in Japan, and under the Sega name, it would probably sell well, as Sega is a well-known company in Japan. This would mean that Sega could still develop games for other systems, as they're not being bought by Microsoft. So, when is this announcement happening? It's most likely going to be revealed on June 4th, when the next issue of Famitsu comes out, but it could be revealed on the 3rd of June due to it being Sega's 60th anniversary. I personally do think whatever it is, it'll probably be revealed on June 4th. So, you may be asking, what do I think this announcement is going to be about? I honestly don't know. Personally, I don't think it's going to be a next generation Sega console developed by Sega themselves, but if I had to be honest, I think a console that would play all Sega's games does seem very likely, as well as the Sega Xbox. We'll have to wait and see. So, whatever this announcement is, I do hope the large scale of the announcement will pave a future for the company and help make Sega a gaming giant once again. Hopefully, the upcoming announcement doesn't disappoint us. Anyway, that's all I have to say so far about this news. If you liked the video and want to help support my channel, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. What are your thoughts on its upcoming announcement? Let me know in the comments. Expect a third video on this when its upcoming announcement is actually announced. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.